Good morning, wonderful people. Welcome to my channel where we are discussing right now not just the psychology but all the parts of Vedic astrology which are useful for healers of all kinds. New age healers, theta therapists, metaphysical healing, who are doing all kinds of work in different kinds of healing modalities, and how astrology will play very well into that, Vedic astrology, and what they point towards. You're having a weakness in knees, or you're having issues with your stomach or your mental thinking or any of these processes. So last one we discussed planetary psychology, which I put on the screen over here. Now all those new to my channel, you can go through the playlist of Healers Astrology and you can see if you're interested in the healing modality. This particular series is only about healing modalities, okay? Healing at all levels. If you're listening on my podcast, you can check out the YouTube link in the description box. The last one, we talked about planetary psychology, which you can see is listed from order of sun, everything going downwards. Now we have all these characteristics, the positive sides and the negative sides of each planet. This is the energy that each planet provides us. And according to the ascendant on the right side of the chart, where you can see the pie chart, the pie presents us with all the 12 houses, the house lords and rulerships, and what they interact as. Okay? Now keep this planetary psychology in mind, or revisit this part, or take a screenshot and a printout, I would suggest, if you want to study the next parts, because now next we will dive into the time aspect. What is time according to Vedic astrology? What does the concept of time mean? Because it is even called Hora Shastra, or the concept or the science of time itself. So how does time play out in the chart? Because not all of these mature at the same age as per our chart, and not everything happens in our life all at once. Why is that? That's what we are examining in this one. So the maturity ages of the planet are something like this. Sun matures at 22 years of age. Moon matures at 24 years of age. Mercury matures at 32 years of age. Age when I say a person's life. Venus matures at 25 years of age, Mars at 28 years of age, Jupiter at 16 years of age, Saturn at 36 years of age, the North Node and South Node at 48 years of age. Now what does maturation of a planet mean? Meaning whatever ideas and impressions, the soul impressions that a person has got through different lives, it starts solidifying at this age according to where the planet is placed. Look at the pie chart once again. Wherever the ascendant is, or wherever physically the planet is placed in, or the other house that the ascendant will rule. For example, if it's a Gemini ascendant, it will also rule the house of Virgo, wherever Virgo falls in the chart. In this case, it's the 10th chart, right? 10th house. Virgo rules the 10th house of Gemini. So it will look at that Mercury aspect. Why? Because Virgo's Lord is also Mercury, as is the Gemini Lord also Mercury. And of course, Mercury physically might be placed in any one of the houses. So that matures at 32 years of age. This is when a person's intellect is kind of solidified. Think of planet maturity as solidification of what the planet provides. What does the planet provide? Well, for one thing, it provides all of this. That matures at that age, right? That's just the first part. We're just beginning here, okay? Next, you got to keep in mind this table. And again, with respect to the pie chart, the table that you see here lists on the first column the houses 1 to 12. The 1 to 12 houses that occur in each and every chart. We're talking about 12 houses. See the thread of 12 running everywhere. We have 12 hours in the waking hours, 12 and 12, 24 hours in a day. So our houses also go through all the 12 houses. We did the series of case studies on astrology. We can see the case studies on astrology if you need. I'll link up the playlist, which covers all the ascendants that happen in a 24-hour period, which goes through house number 1 right up till house number 12, right, as the ascendant. Anyone can be ascendant, and the ascendant changes every 2 hours, as you will find in the case studies. The activity ages of house, because now we are talking about time. We are just discussing time and how it relates to Vedic astrology and how Vedic astrology sees it, how it understands it. So ages 1 to 12 of a person, these houses are active for a person. And again it goes cycles back from 13 years old, when they're starting their teen life, they're again starting from house number 1. They're trying to understand who they are, the self, which is house number 1. At 14, they are trying to understand their family. At 15, they are trying to understand their siblings. At 16, they are trying to understand what home means to them, more focused on home. And so on and so forth, it goes on. Let's say you are 54 years old. So you're 54 years old, your 6th house is active at that age. Meaning, the activity ages that is listed right up till 84 here, and it continues even after 84 if you are alive, basically lists which house is active at what age. This is another aspect of time. Planetary maturity, which we talked about earlier, is one aspect. Activity age of the house itself is another aspect. Certain houses are active at certain age groups. Meaning if you are a 28-year-old, 4th house is active more. Meaning, not that you'll just be sitting at home, it just means that issues relating to your 4th house, home, family, mother, homeland, will be more dominant in your life in this year. Okay, that's what this particular aspect means. This aspect of time, you need to learn to read it like this. If you are 18 years old, the 6th house is playing, 6th house of daily work, enemies, who your enemies are. You will find out more. Whenever 6th house is active, that is the age of 6, age of 18, 30, 42, 54, 66 and 78. This belt, the horizontal belt of 6, is all the ages where more of diseases, more of surgeries, more of enemies, all these bad aspects of our lives will try to happen more dominantly for you to understand and work through. We work through all the houses at any time. 1 to 12 are listed in the leftmost column. The activity ages of the house, especially in the years when we are mature and we are going out into the world, let's say from 20 to 60. You start going out into the world to get educated at 20 and then you land at 60 finally when you retire. So this belt, you're starting from the 8th house and going all the way, you transverse all houses. So these 2 dominant decades of a person's life, 25 to 36 and 37 to 48 and 49 to 60, these 3 decades, you will go through all the 12 houses in this manner. Another example, if you're 38 years old, you are dealing more with the matters of elder siblings, 2nd house, there, as I'm pointing here. So if you're 38, you're dealing more with the aspects of your home, your wealth, your whatever the 2nd house aspects are, which are elder siblings, wealth, your speech, you have to take care of your speech. And of course, you're looking at this pie over here, wherever the planets are placed. And what is going on in your life at that time. This is useful to understand how Vedic astrology sees time. This is the second aspect. The third aspect is age is ruled by planets, meaning the person's age and which planet is more dominant in that age group. From 1 to 12 years old, Moon is dominant. From 13 to 24 years old, Mercury is more dominant. From 12 to 36-year-old is ruled by Venus. 37 to 48 years old is ruled by Sun. 49 to 60 is ruled by Mars. 61 to 72 years old is ruled by Jupiter. Forgive my throat today. 73 to 84 years old is ruled by Saturn. 85 to 96 years old, ripe old age, is ruled by Rahu. 97 to 180 years is ruled by Ketu. If we all live up till that point. This Dasha periods, the last one, which we'll be talking about, this is all very brief summary for you to take. Okay, this is like a whole dictionary for you. Dasha periods is the Vimshottari Dasha scheme in Vedic astrology, which is a whole another playlist I will do later on perhaps. Is the major periods of a person's life. Now, Sun right up till Venus is going all of this number of years that it will play out. The number of years, the period in a person's life where one planet is most dominant in a person's entire chart. Doesn't matter which activity, this particular one which I'm showing here, or doesn't matter which age is ruling. The Dasha periods will override all of this. But do not think for a second that these do not play a role in these Dasha periods. Okay, it's not one over the other, it's all of these aspects playing out, all of them. The Sun period rules for a period of 6 years, Moon for a period of 10 years, Mars for a period of 7 years, Rahu for a period of 18 years, Jupiter 16 years, Saturn plays out for 19 years, Mercury for 17 years, Ketu for 7 years, Venus for 20 years. Now, according to your chart, which one is playing out now and other things, if you want to get in touch, you can get in touch with me through my services on my Facebook page, which is linked, okay? Because this becomes, as you can see, a very highly complex energy science of time. We are just talking about time here, folks, in this one, and that in itself is a huge topic. As you can see, it can get very complex. Not only are the aged groups ruled by certain aspects, but certain major periods play out in a person's life. For example, just giving you a random example here. Let's say you are a 25-year-old and the first house is playing. You are evaluating yourself. So you are 25 years old, you are working through your first house. So you fall in the age group ruled by planets in what? In Venus. 25 to 36 years old is ruled by Venus, which is all about your artful sensibility, your sense of refined expression of your sense of beauty, your sensuality, your sexuality, all that you are exploring here in these years. This bracket, 25 to 36 years, Venus is ruling it. But let us say you are running a Mahadasha of Mars in that period. So you will be very aggressively Venus-like. Remember, we spoke of the psychology of the planets. Aggressively Venus-like in this 25 to 36 period. However, in this 25 to 36 period, if you are running Moon, Mahadasha, Moon tends to color everything emotionally. It wants to feel things, feel and sense things, the manas aspect of the mind. So Moon will tend to dominate the Venus energy, so you'll become very emotionally artistic. And that's the energy that will play out. See how complex it gets here when you compare these two? Not only that, now you superimpose that. You have already matured at most of the time, 25 years of age, even Venus is maturing. And now you come back to that example over here. What happens? You are predominantly Venus-like, but you are taking it to your ascendant. The activity of the house, which is dominant at 25 years, is self, the first house. So it's all in your mind. You are recalibrating your mind to more Venus-like energy. And depending upon which Dasha, Mahadasha is active in your chart, that particular kind of personality side you will be developing. Remember, I am speaking only from a personality aspect, that's all I do. I don't do predictive astrology. Because I believe you have to first understand where you are. Then only you can plot the GPS map of where you want to go in life. So you need to understand where you are. And this is the science of Vedic astrology time aspect. This is just very brief. We can do a whole 10-hour video on this. But I want to leave you today with just this brief idea about astrology aspects of time. Once you understand time in this context, you'd be much better off thinking why some things happen at certain times in my life and why some other things are happening at some other ages of my life. Because the houses are active at different ages, the ages ruled by planets are different, and your Mahadasha period is different. This is why some things suddenly seem to happen or some things seemingly never seem to happen. This is all an illusion, folks. It's a science of time. We have the technology. You just need to use it wisely, that's all. So thank you for your like, shares and subscribes. I will end this one here. It's getting quite detailed. In the next one, we will get to the body. We will get to the taste and body preferences, because now we are dealing with the healing part also, right? This is the Healer's Astrology Series. So take care, be safe, and thank you for watching.